I see.
Oh, there's Scott.
I hit a bunch of buttons. What's up?
Oh. We had some technical difficulty. Not we, one person. And I'm going to tell you who it was. It was somebody who's not wearing a hat.
It totally was. Someone that was not wearing a hat.
Somebody that's not wearing a hat had no technical. No, somebody that is wearing a hat had technical difficulties.
You effed up your shite. Nicely done.
Hey, Happy New Year, pal.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Mr. Robert, and everybody in the chat who might only be Scott. What up, Scott? Happy New Year to you, good sir. Yeah, so there's that. We're in 2022.
Yeah.
If we had to write dates down on things, how many times do you think you would screw it up? Like how far into the year do you think you would get before you finally go, 2022?
Well, see, it's funny because I was going to say, if I was writing something out and you just did the hand gesture of writing things out. And so I think when you're typing it in, you press enter, the date automatically populates when you're typing something like a letter or whatever, like at work, right? So, But if I was handwriting stuff, I would definitely be writing 2021. It would take me about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was working on some of the thumbnails, and I think I put some of the dates on some of the thumbnails, and I had to stop for a second and go, I got to put 2022. So, I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many. Keep an eye out for how many thumbnails. If we put the years in thumbnails, folks, and it says best of 2020, whatever, or this movie in 2020 something, whatever. There's going to be a couple f ups. I warn you in advance.
We've as we're waiting for people to come in, it's been crazy. I saw that Lewis is like nutting us about being on time. So the reason it always shifted from 8 to 8:15 was because my daughter has her dance class. Well, John. With these new restrictions for the next at least 3 weeks, dance classes, she's there tonight because it doesn't go into effect until Wednesday. But after that, it's you know what? Instead of doing virtual, they're just shutting the whole thing down because virtual dance class is very difficult to do. So
no, it's a hard burden on these places that have to shut down. And not only just the government type stuff like schools and things like that, but businesses and stuff that have to shut down and try to provide something. I can't imagine what it's like for private schools that you're charging people a fee to be in your whatever school, and then people aren't getting to school, so now you've got to set up an online program. But I guess we're gonna persevere, and hopefully it won't be too long, and hopefully it's for the betterment of everybody. We'll see how that goes. Shout outs to the movie theaters. I don't know if you saw, Rob, the Cineplex posted something that they're refunding everybody's tickets if you bought anything after January 5th. So if you want to run out and see, what can you see now, Rob? Spider-Man and Matrix.
You go back to see Spider-Man, go back to see the Matrix.
You can go for the next day or two, and then that's
still can't eat. Still can't eat. And it's bizarre, man. These rules, I don't understand half of them. I don't get it, but whatever. It is what it is. I mean, I'm just happy though for you guys that you'll still be able to be open and operating.
Yeah, as far as
at a bit of reduced capacity, maybe
we are reduced to 50% capacity again, which we're pretty used to right now. And if anyone thought we were running at 100% capacity, wow, they were sorely mistaken. But we're here to take you away from all this daily nonsense and have some fun. So thank you, everybody. Happy New Year to people. If you guys are tuning in late, I saw Lewis is in there now.
I haven't even seen you since before Christmas. I want to say just off the top, I know he's not on here yet, but a big shout out to Gord for stepping in last week. As John, I had said, then John riffed, much like Dante from Clark's. I wasn't supposed to be here, and I didn't actually know we were doing a show on Monday. But apparently the people demanded it.
It's not really your fault. We kind of left it in the air. We're like, yeah, maybe we'll do a show, maybe we won't. And I was like, and Rob was like, yeah, we probably will though. And then I was just like, okay, I just ran under the assumption that maybe we're doing a show. And then I didn't hear from him, and I didn't want to bother you. So I'm pretty sure if I decided to call you, you would have been like, oh, let me wrap up whenever I'm doing here.
Let me sober up.
You were supposed to be out of town on vacay. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. If you guys follow the show on the regular basis, Rob was supposed to be on a boat or something, reading, relaxing, watching his downloaded copy of James Bond 007 Never Dies Today. But
so can I just tell you though, anecdotally, John, so once we decided, like literally 8 days before the cruise was set to set sail, that we were no longer going. There was going to be 17 of us. You kind of like start seeing all these news stories about, cruise ship after cruise ship after cruise ship having, outbreaks on board and things happening. And then you start being like, wow, maybe we dodged a bullet. Even you, I think, had messaged me at one point being like, looks like you guys made the right call. However, the boat we were going to be going on, there was no outbreaks on that boat. Everything went as normal and planned, and everything seems to have worked out well. Although the flights did get canceled because of WestJet. Maybe it was they amalgamated them to another air. I don't have no idea, but I do know the flight that was originally supposed to return last night was canceled. So all that to say is that, when we were sitting here watching and that boat is setting sail, and I kept getting notifications on my phone on the app, like the World Caribbean app kept saying,
here?
Yeah, it kept saying, hey, good morning. You've got a great day planned in Honduras. And I was like, no, I don't. All right. I'm sitting at home wearing
No, I don't, asshole.
Yeah, tell us how much did you enjoy ziplining? I didn't enjoy it at all because I didn't do it. So for those
that's an oversight from whoever set up those automated messages, which would have been pretty cool when you're there. But given the current situation, someone probably should have hit the little slider switch on that and said, we're not going to send those out this particular trip.
Yeah. So at any rate, listen, in the small off chance that any of the individuals on that boat happen to be listening to this later down the road, I hope you had a good time. It seemed like it was a lot of fun. The messages I was getting from the boat seemed like it was a lot of fun, but at any rate,
the boat possibly didn't go anywhere and everything just was automated.
No, we were watching it. So anyways, but the whole point was that Gord stepped up last week and I saw the show afterwards. Because like on my Facebook page it said, hey, you missed the live show. I was like, what? So much like the boat saying, hey, you missed your ziplining in Honduras, I got a, hey, you missed a Sidekick show. So I ended up watching it. You guys did a great job doing a rundown of all the stuff that you guys had kind of watched throughout the course of 2021.
Or that I didn't watch.
Right. It was actually, it wasn't that bad. It was like it was kind of watching like a Fast and Furious race between Vin Diesel and like some schmuck. And then all of a sudden, you're the schmuck. Gordon Vin Diesel and took off.
No,
and
don't you dare call Gordon schmuck.
So no, he did a great job. And, he was also able to dodge a few of the burritos, being thrown at him from his, lovely partner, Sarah. So yeah, big thanks to Gord for that. Sorry, I thought I had a hole in my sweater. It was starting to bug me, but I don't.
And you had to check it now.
I did. I told you, man.
I better check this hole in my sweater right now because.
But it's not a hole. It's just a stitching.
It's brand new Gap sweater.
Dude, this is like it's got like a liner on the inside, man. It's fuzzy. It's just like warm. It's one of my favorite sweaters, man. It's so warm. Anyways, you're not here for my fashion stuff. So, John, anyways, I hope you had a good holiday. I hope you and maybe you are. I hope your wife and kids had a great holiday and a good New Year's. Did you get anything cool on Christmas? Did you do Boxing Day shopping? Let's talk about the swag you got, John. Come on.
Boxing Day was kind of dry. I don't know if anyone went to check out. Basically, all the deals happened during, I guess, what is it, Black Friday? And then they take everything down right after Black Friday is done. And then they proceed to tell you things are on sale, but they're not on sale for Boxing Week. So it's pretty crazy. I picked up a couple video games, Nintendo. My girl's got a Switch for Christmas. We picked up a game called, if you have a Switch or anyone has a Switch and you're looking for a fun game to play with the kids, we picked up a game called Moving Out, I think it's called.
So you're preparing them?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like a silly game where you're a moving team and you go into houses and you pick up stuff and you pack it in the truck. So you got to fit in the truck, and some things require two people, and then there's all these hazards and stuff like that. And my daughter loves it, and even my buddy Pat came over and we were playing it and having a blast with this game that was only like maybe $6. So pretty sweet to discover these kind of silly fun games. And then my wife got me a watch. I'm not wearing it right now, but that was pretty much it. We kept Christmas pretty low key. How about you, Rob? Any cool bits and bites?
Well, no, because we hadn't really planned for anything. So big shout out to my wife who decided to jump on We made a list really quickly, and she went out and grabbed stuff. We ordered online. She was picking it up from the different stores for our kids. So they had a good Christmas. Yeah, I had a good Christmas. Listen, I got a pair of Alexa, the Amazon Echo earbuds that I can use at the gym, which is now closed now for the next 30 days.
You can use it on your walks though. You can walk outside.
Yeah, I do. When I was shoveling snow the other day, I was wearing them. So actually, they're really cool. And then a book, the new Chris Hadfield book, The Apollo Murders. I got that. Ooh. The kids got me a couple other things like some clothes and trying to think what else. Yeah, just stuff like that. And then I
love clothes now, eh? When you were a kid, you were like,
what the hell is this?
Clothes. Yeah. Nowadays, you're like, yo, I could use a bunch of nice warm socks.
Yeah. And then I on Boxing Day, I picked myself up a new receiver. So for my surround sound in the basement, I decided to maybe get rid of the current one that I had for 13 years, John. So I upgraded my receiver for some intense surround sound.
That's a hell of a run, a decade and a bit.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. Yeah, so we did that, and then I picked up Far Cry 6. It was on sale, so I picked that up. Actually, the receiver was a part gift from my family. The kids got me a nice gift card from Best Buy. So, but I picked up Far Cry 6. So I've been playing that a lot in the last few days. So that's been a lot of fun. So
yeah. I don't think I've ever had a proper surround sound system. I've had like some of the satellite speakers, but I feel like it's never been set up properly. I've always had the sound system, whereas when the center speaker is too low and you watch a movie and you're like, I can't hear anyone talk. All I hear is cars smashing into each other. And then I would end up just like cranking up that center speaker. So I don't think I've ever had a proper surround sound setup, and I don't think I'll be able to get one kind of in my current house setup. So I usually go with headphones. So
I'm really happy because my new receiver, I can actually turn up the center speaker directly. Because sometimes you're right, you're hearing everything. It's not a center speaker. It might not always be super clear. I can click it up a little bit.
Yeah. I used to find that was a huge problem. I think it was just my setup. It just wasn't done properly. I would pop in my laser disc and I'd be like watching Bad Boys or whatever, and I'm like, I can't hear the voice. It's weird. So, anyways, shout outs to you guys who can tune up your surround sound and stuff like that.
Oh, Fraser says I'm setting off his Echo. Alexa, what time is it? Steve said he was going to get a soundbar. Now I was about to get a soundbar, and I went and I purchased it like on Christmas Day on the Boxing Day website, on Best Buy's Boxing Day deals. And the last minute, right, it was in my cart. I stopped myself and I was like, "Why would I buy a soundbar for my basement when I already have it set up? All I have to do is
you already wired all the speakers in, right?
Yeah, I just need a new receiver." So.
So are your wires hidden or are they just on the floor?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. They're all hidden. They're all strung through the ceiling and everything else. So yeah, it's all.
I used to snake it on the floor around the couch, and you'd always have to put your couch in like an L shape. Yeah, go all the way around to the back. But I never did the kind of like put it into the wall thing.
This is really funny. So Lewis, Fraser just apparently his Alexa just went off. And funny enough, my son messaged me because he's watching and he goes, "Hey, my Alexa just went off." So that's awesome.
You do a good generic activate your Alexa.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying it and it is not being activated.
No.
If it is, Alexa, play Kanye West Moon. Have some fun with that, folks.
But you're not here for this. We got a fair amount of stuff to talk about tonight. John's got some stuff I can see in our preview screen here. Behind the curtain, he's got some stuff to show you. There's not much in the way of news, but I do have one breaking news item that we're going to go over. And then, I figured, what the hell? I put together a very brief list of things that I've seen in 2021. I'm going to run through them with you. John's going to try to.
I was too lazy, so I'm just going to judge Rob's list.
Because harshly too.
Mostly because my lists would be so silly because I'm so foolish. I only remember like the last things we watched. So my entire list would be everything that came out this month. Does that mean that was the best stuff that came out? Maybe.
No, it's all that you just remember.
Yeah. I got like memory of a goldfish.
Well, that was the thing about watching last week's show is that like somebody brought up Gunpowder Milkshake. And I was like, holy shit, I forgot we saw that. So yeah.
All right, so let me show you something, Rob. I got one new figure to show you, and I'm going to show you a couple of in stock things just because I still have some decent stock left over from Christmas.
Okay.
If I could talk, I
Nope.
Choked on a piece of ice there.
There you go.
But let's go. We're talking Sideshow collectibles. We're talking hot toys because it is typically stuff that is to do with this show or any of the content we produce. So I'm going to show you some fun stuff, and you guys let me know what you think of it. So the new item that I've got on deck is this one here. If you guys saw Eternals this year, it did feature Angelina Jolie as this character. I completely forgot who the character is now.
Cersei.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's totally not. Is it Cersei?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure Cersei was the other character in the green with the earth. Gemma Chan's character. No? I could be completely wrong. It might be on here. Thena. There you go. Thena.
Oh,
so
Thena.
This was their Wonder Woman character. How you feeling on this likeness to Angelina Jolie?
I think it looks really good. I think sorry, this is Hot Toys, right?
Yeah, Hot Toys 1/6 scale.
Yeah,
basically a doll, if you call it. But yeah, it looks pretty good.
I like it. Yeah, I think it looks really good.
They might some images from like younger, maybe a little bit younger Angelina Jolie, or
maybe. I think I'm pretty happy with the face sculpt. Here's my question though, John: is that Hot Toys and they're just mass producing? Sorry, I shouldn't say they're mass because these are limited editions, right? But they are producing figures for every Marvel property that's coming out. And some of these properties are not hitting as hard as other ones. I'm fairly certain that when they do the No Way Home figures, that they'll probably be unveiling in the second half of next year, people are going to go nuts for them. I don't know how many people are going to be wanting Eternals figures. I think it'd be a low amount. So is Sideshow, with Hot Toys shooting themselves in the foot? Like, look at what they did with all of the Disney Plus shows.
This is what they do. This is what people want. They did it for all the Iron Mans. They've done for almost all the Avengers movies. So if you bought all your figures from Avengers Infinity War, you then had to upgrade to your Endgame figures. And they're doing it for all the TV properties now. So they definitely have this on lock. I think it must have a pretty good market. And this is the perfect figure to start with. So if you ever wanted an Angelina Jolie figure and you didn't want to own a Tomb Raider, or I don't think they ever made a Wanted figure, this is probably your go-to. And I think it would look pretty good on your shelf if you were just a fan of hers. This will retail for about $270 USD. I was too lazy to do the conversion, folks. So if you are interested in something like this, hit me up. We can arrange all the details. It is expected to come out March 2023.
I see people in the comments are saying they're waiting for this movie to hit Disney Plus. That's not long. January 12th, Eternals hits Disney Plus. It's a Wednesday. Interesting that they're dropping on the Wednesday, but there you go.
Yeah, hey, I guess maybe they're trying to. Maybe Wednesday is their drop day, I guess.
Yeah,
I think that is it. Yeah, that is their drop day. So I guess maybe they don't have an episode of Boba Fett coming out or something like. They probably do. But anyways, yeah, check that out. I guess a lot of you guys haven't seen it, so look forward to seeing this character. I still thought she was pretty cool in the movie, no matter what you think about the movie. And now I'm going to show you some things that are actually in stock right now in the store if you wanted to get them. So we've got the Batman DC Direct Todd McFarlane statue, the version 2.0. We have this in stock right now. It's a 1/10 scale. Very nice statue based off of this classic cover by Todd McFarlane here. And this is a very stylistic piece, right, Rob? You could have this if you don't own anything else. If you just had this Batman on your shelf, it would definitely fit in.
Oh yeah. I love this piece. I've been clamoring for this piece for the last couple of years. This was to commemorate the black and white number 100 that they had done, right? So I think it's still listed as number 100 on their listing numbers. But yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. This was the statue we feared was going to get destroyed or unreleased. They kind of disappeared. A whole debacle of DC Direct kind of closing its doors and the DC distribution shakeup, but we finally got them. So we do have a bunch of them in stock at this shop. I'll probably try and take some live pictures of it this week because we actually haven't opened one up for display. So we thought they were going to all be gone for Christmas, but we've got a couple left. So come check those out. They're really cool. They're available right now for $149.99. Also available on our website. So if you want to check that out, very cool piece. And the next one is the Jim Lee one. So this is the Jim Lee black and white statue version 3. I forgot how many Batman statues are based off of Jim Lee's art, but this is one of the really cool ones. At least
that's his third.
but in the black and white line, but they've done other ones based on such figures and all that kind of stuff. So Jim Lee is definitely a go-to. It is loosely based off of Batman issue 6119. Maybe this picture, I don't know, this is the closest picture I could find to him in that pose, but maybe they didn't want to go as crazy with the cape because that would break in a second if you start shipping that in a 3D statue form. So these are available right now for $100. $100 nice. We have these in store. Scoop them up now. Like, look, the quality is just really good for what you're paying for it. And it's a nice piece if you're just starting collecting statues, or if you're looking for a nice piece that will still fit on your shelf. If you're decorating your shelves with your fancy books, I'm very jealous of you book readers putting stuff on the shelves, and then you can have a Batman statue in the mix somewhere there.
Well, these are really great sizes that they can go around your television, like depending on like how your basement, your cave's going, whether it's a man cave, girl cave, whatever you're defining it. These things go great around your shelves on your television. However you have your stuff, you can easily put these on floating shelves because they're not too heavy. Don't be careful; you don't want to drop them because it is. They are fragile, but yeah, I love you. Listen, people are working from home now. A lot of people have maybe converted it, home offices now. These are great on your desk or around you, like you said. So I love my Batman black and whites that I have. I definitely have to be picking up these other ones. So
yeah. One of the few statues that I actually got to keep and take home is the Edward Rizzo Batman from
nice.
I forgot which story arc that was, but it's a very kind of gritty street looking Batman. So I like that one. And then this is the 3-0 Optimus Prime Deluxe Siege version. We do have these in stock, fully posable. He does not transform, but he does look hella cool. So multiple weapons. This is an actual live picture here. So this is a picture I took at the store with this figure. It's on display right now if you want to check it out. He's a really cool piece. And I believe he might have an LED feature. I think the head might light up. But he's pretty cool. And he's about $250, very big. If you want to see more pictures of them, hit me up, let me know. And that is the stuff that's in stock right now that I wanted to show off. If you're not following us on Facebook or Instagram, we did post the new comic book releases coming in this week. Every Monday we post it up, we do up a little fun graphic with that. So you can always let us know what you need from that list and et cetera, et cetera. So on to Rob, who's got one bit of breaking news.
Yeah, well, again, hey, listen, welcome everybody. Joining us live on the Heroes World Sidekick show. Catch us every Monday at 8-ish. 8 to 8:15. We'll just call it 8 o'clock for the next. Sorry. Yeah, we'll call it 8 o'clock for the next month. Thanks to the new restrictions. If it's your first time here, hey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button and the notification, because when certain trailers drop, we like to try to do a trailer reaction as well. You'll get notification of all the other shows on the channel, such as the Heroes World podcast. This week we did a review of the Book of Boba Fett episode 1. Andre joined us with myself, John, and Stu, and then we also stuck around in a second episode of The Matrix Resurrections. So you definitely want to tune into that. And then on Friday, a friend of the store and show, Jesse, teams up with Andre for TGIF, and they go over a whole bunch of stuff of what they're reading throughout the week and maybe of watching as well. And it's definitely something to check out. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let us know and share it with your friends. Comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Whether you agree, disagree, it's fine. We can all take it. So I just want to say thanks everybody for showing up. And again, if you haven't been here since this, I saw Gordon, Sarah. Hey, what's up? Happy New Year to everybody there. So as John said, I didn't really have much in the way of news. Usually this is the point of the show where I have some news, breaking news or some type of news to go over, but it's been really quiet, John, since the beginning of the new year. There was a rumbling yesterday about some plot points of the upcoming Flash movie that have leaked out and have got the DC fans in an uproar. I'm not going to get into that right now. It actually made TMZ. So I don't know. Take that for what you will as a barometer. Is it? Yeah, exactly. Was it just like a slow news day, or is it actually legit? But you can, if you want to talk about it in the chat, maybe we'll comment on it. Otherwise, we're gonna leave that for now. But I did want to say, John, that breaking news about 45 minutes ago, this came across my desk, across the wire, John, the wire, like it does in the newsroom, John, and went, and I pulled it off the teletype.
I should get graphic. I'll get graphic next time.
7 times the charm, John, is 7 times the charm, because Morbius is once again on the move, my friend. He is moving.
Oh no!
He is moving from the January 28th date to April the 1st. And this is not me being I'm not laying no, I am not laying the groundwork for a new joke, an April Fool's joke. This is not a long grift on my part. This is legit. Moving to April the 1st, Sony has delayed Morbius for the 7th time. Oh, John.
That is tragic. I think I stated this before, that they missed their shot to slide it in there. I think there was kind of a gap where not a ton of stuff was coming out. They should have got it out there. So and then it should be on digital like by now. People should be enjoying it hopefully on digital now, and maybe you'd be able to sell some other merchandise, or maybe you'd be able to release some other things based off it if it actually is as good as they're toting it to be. Maybe we would be seeing some other projects come to fruition and stuff like that. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. This is
of
course, maybe they're gonna fix the plot in post. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Have a hell of a
it was supposed to roll out in originally it was January. Well, no, it's not originally, but 2 moves ago it was January 21st, then went to the 28th. Listen, it's done. Obviously, it's in the can, ready to go. This is going to be Sony's version of New Mutants, John. I'm really looking forward to us watching this and doing a review, because now you have to. Like, it's just so laughable that now you.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I want to see my boy Tyrese shine. He's finally getting in a major superhero movie, getting his foot in the door.
You know what? Listen, yeah, I don't know if I would have gone. I might have gone to the theater to see it. Mm-hmm. At the end of this month. I don't know if I will go in January or in April now. Who the hell knows? The trailer looks interesting. Like, it's enough that I would probably listen, I went and saw Venom 2, John, in the theater. So I would probably give Morbius a shot. I will say though, there's that one clip in the trailer where he rages out and he says, "I am Venom." And that just and he goes, "I'm just kidding." That I actually it cringe every time. Maybe they thought it was like a really funny little Easter egg to put in there, but it actually drives me absolutely batty. So
all right.
Now, will you go to the theater to see it?
If it was available, yeah, I think I probably would have went to see it. I would have definitely been picky about my time to try and avoid the crowd, because Spider-Man was getting a little dicey. So it is a shame that the theaters didn't even get a chance to dial it back before getting completely shut down. So we'll see. I wanted to see it. I did want to see it. That last trailer, I don't think I watched it when you guys watched it, and they played it during. Did they play it during No Way Home? I think they did.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So I did think it looked interesting.
Yeah. Well.
But New Mutants was a pile of trash. So.
You know what? Listen, man, I'm just surprised that they didn't just drop this on streaming. It's becoming a joke into itself, but whatever. We'll see what happens.
If it's good, if it's really legit good, then yeah, I guess we might be eating our own words. But if it's kind of mediocre and they didn't choose to put it out on streaming to to chill out some of this hype or something for it, but yeah, that's kind of.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm with you. Sarah actually says no theater for me until you can eat and drink. I completely agree with Sarah. I actually had this conversation. So I had a friend of mine, his wife and his 2 kids. They're the same age as mine. Well, maybe it's about 14 and 12. They went to see No Way Home at 10:50 at night. He sent me a text at 2:30. He goes, "We just got home." And I was like, so I talked to him the next day. I'm like, "What? Are you crazy going that late?" And he's like, "It was, we didn't have to see anybody. There was 7 other people in the theater. It was empty." I'm like, obviously. I was like, but I don't know if I could do that, John. I don't know if I could sit through a movie and not be able to eat or drink. Just the fact that I wouldn't be allowed to would make me super thirsty. I'd be sitting there with the mask on. I'd be like, I'm so thirsty.
When someone tells you can't do something, you just want to do that thing,
yes,
right?
Yeah, and I can't. I need it. I'd be parched. I'd be like, my lips are dry. I'd be like, give me an ice cube. I'd be like, oh no, I wouldn't be able to handle it. So knowing that I can't is it's a problem. I have a problem. So just like Sarah, I will not return to the theater to see a movie until I'm allowed to just stuff my face full of popcorn.
I will say seeing Spider-Man without having the popcorn experience was not quite as good, and not being able to support the team at Cineplex. We know a lot of people that work there or have worked there. Not being able to buy the concession. Sure, you can say what you want about pricing and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of staff on hand and things like that, a lot of gears that have to turn for the theater and stuff like that. So even that, having to just walk past there and go on our way. But yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed we'll be back at it at a safe time to do so. Anything else you got, Rob?
No, man, that's all I got. All right, see you later. Oh, I have one more thing. Ready? Mm-hmm. Alexa, play Tool sober. Let's see what happens.
So while you all listen to Tool, we're going to get into Rob's top 5 lists for the year. Again, I didn't do mine because laziness / everything would have been new stuff. Sneak peek would have been Spider-Man on the list. It would have been Cobra Kai on the list. It would have been Hawkeye. It would have been a pretty funny list. Matrix probably would have snuck on there. Like literally all the stuff that just came out. So that's how short term my memory is, or maybe it actually was all the good stuff came out at the end of the year. We're gonna see when we hear about Rob's list and see if the stuff that would have been on mine is on there, or if I just completely forgot about the stuff that he's going to mention here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's working on it. Scott would have been a little more cruel. He said he would have played Nickelback, but
well, maybe I should request the Hero from the Spider-Man 1 soundtrack.
That's enjoying a decent extended life on TikTok. I see a lot of people using that song for
really
videos. Yeah, because they'd be like, and then the hero, and then they do like some silly joke. It's like, oh, the hero of this is whatever. But anyways,
yeah. So
what do you want to do?
What? Well, here. So I got a list. Last week again, a big shout out to Gord for coming in last week while I was on vacation. And you guys went through some of the movies that you had watched or the TV shows that had come out in 2021, whether you had watched or not. And obviously, as I said at the beginning of the show, John, Gord, he was lapping you in things that he had watched. But I also think that Gord seems to watch like everything. I think he's very much like Stu. Like Gord would just, if somebody threw shit onto a wall and he would, he would watch it an hour and a half watching it drop down. Gord would be like,
the thing is,
this is entertaining.
Gord likes to ride a jillion miles on his bike.
That's
so since
true.
He can't do that outside anymore safely, which is kind of nice that we don't have to worry about him on the streets and people driving like idiots. He can watch it while riding his bike. So I feel like that's something a lot of us might have to get on in the new year to be able to do something while you're consuming all this wonderful content. So yeah, go.
But I decided to put a list of stuff that I watched in 2021, that stuff that came out in 2021. So I'm going to go through the TV shows first. And I only did 5, a top 5. I put myself, same with the movies, even though I watched a hell of a lot more movies. My criteria was this for both shows and movies, was that things that are for TV shows, it was nothing that had was a second season. So listen, I watched the Morning Show season 2. I loved it. I watched Succession season 3. I'm halfway.
I was gonna say Succession's on your list.
Yeah, I'm halfway through Yellowstone. So I would put all those up there, but I wanted to only do either if they were limited series or limited episodes or the first season of a series. So I really wanted to focus on those and shows that were like that. I would tell people, you got to watch this. If you remember last year, Don. For me, 2020 was huge for Dark. And I know that I've mentioned it a number of times. I know Scott ended up watching it as well. So I was trying to find a show that was, for me, I'd be recommending to people to watch. So in no particular order, John, here are my and I'm going to go based on the thumbnails that I see in our behind the stuff. But Squid Games coming out in September. And I got to say, John, like, this was a show that took the internet by storm. This was a huge show out of South Korea, and we talked about it on the show here. we recommended that people watch it in its native South Korean or with subtitles. I like doing that.
The dub was pretty rough.
Yeah, the dub was pretty rough.
I don't know if you tried. I tried.
I did.
I heard some familiar voices.
No, I watched it with my sons. We watched it with dubbed English. But this is a show I've gone back to a couple of times. I for different episodes. I really enjoy Squid Games, and not just because it was like the show of the fall, but it deserved it. It was gripping and it was entitled, and I loved every minute of it. So I'm not sure if you watched all episodes or not, John, but it was a great series.
I got a couple episodes in. I did like what I saw. I just didn't have time to finish it up. But I do like the way they film these shows. Like they really like it's got a style that you don't see on regular TV shows right now. I feel and these guys, these actors and actresses, I thought they were all like really good. It's sometimes hard to tell when you watch things in foreign languages and stuff, but I felt like they were really good, even though they were doing a hell of a lot to sell the main character as this deadbeat. I think they should have sped that up a little bit, but other than that, the show seemed phenomenal.
Yeah, had a lot of fun with it. And listen, I know that I saw that Gordon and I think it was Sarah, somebody else said that they watched Alice in Borderlands. I haven't seen some of those. I'm still catching up. Listen, I just watched The Queen's Gambit last week. That came out like in 2020. I'm behind in myself. Do you know what I just watched last night, John? It's been on my Crave on my listing. And I was like, I kept passing it. I needed like 2.5 hours. Anyways, I watched Prisoners, Denis Villeneuve's first movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, that was on your
it's from
list
2013, John. It's been on my list. Keeps staring at me. So I finally sat down last night and watched it. So listen, I'm playing catch up, but so I take all these recommendations and I'll definitely add Alice in Borderlands to my list. All right, next.
I watched
John,
the first little bit of it. It had a very similar style, like feel, like a very slick feel to it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, cool. All right, next, what do you got? Throw it up there, Johnny.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, Hawkeye. Listen, man, we talked about this by you, myself, and Stu. This for me ended up being my favorite MCU Disney Plus series that was released in 2021. Man, this was a lot of fun, and we reviewed every episode, so I don't need to rehash all of my thoughts on it because you can easily go back and listen to all of our reviews. But suffice to say, this was a show that again was picking up steam by word of mouth, because I don't think anybody was really giving a rat's ass about watching a Hawkeye TV series. When it was announced, people were like, yeah, okay, whatever. But man, for me, this is like a dark horse. It came out of nowhere, even though we knew it was coming, but it came out of nowhere in terms of its entertainment value. I had no idea. I wasn't expecting how much fun this was going to be. So I loved Hawkeye, and this is something I will definitely go back and rewatch again. And this may be one of those things that you went up, like I could see myself watching it every holiday season because it is a holiday based show, right? So
I felt like this was I was trying to put together another list of just things I liked from the year in general, but I kept going to all this new stuff. So I don't know if the new stuff was just better or my memory is just trash. But Haley Steinfeld, Florence Pugh, who just stole the show. She stole the show in Black Widow, and then she steals the show when she shows up in Hawkeye. And she is just amazing to watch. Like the charisma is off the chart for her. So definitely 100% agree with you. And even Jeremy Renner, I always kind of liked him, but definitely Hawkeye and the new show I'm watching, Mayor of Kingstown, is cementing him as one of my kind of favorite guys to watch.
Well, it was interesting because, Jeremy Renner is an accomplished actor. All right. Yeah. He does drama great. He's been in a lot of great things. And I feel that he hasn't gotten, I guess you could say, respect as playing Hawkeye, because Hawkeye as a character, when you're up against gods and everything else, what are you, a guy with a bow? That was the big crutch of what he said in Avengers Age of Ultron, and it repeated again in this show. But in this, he hasn't really gotten a lot to do, right? In the past movies. But in this show, holy shit, we saw a side of Clint Barton that we've never seen in the movies, and he pulled it off, and I loved it. So a new appreciation for his take on that character. All right, cool. Next is Mayor of Easttown. Now, not to be confused with what John said, He's talking about the mayor
of Kingstown.
Kingstown. This is Mayor of Easttown. This was a limited series on HBO. I don't know if they'll do a season 2, but when I watch this, John, I don't like comparing necessarily all the time, shows to other shows. I hold certain shows up to a high standard, but that first season of True Detective really kind of blew me away with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Not that this is on par with the first season of True Detective, but in terms of what it did, seeing Kate Winslet in this role and how gripping the story was, it made me feel like I wanted to keep watching it every week, just the same way I had with True Detective. So I loved Mayor of Easttown. I don't know if you got a chance to see it or not.
I started to fire it up, and then it was too in depth because I think you have to really watch what's going on. So I couldn't put it on while I was working on something.
This is not a background show.
Yeah. It is on my list of things, along with what you mentioned before, Yellowstone, the Kevin Costner project. These are both on my list. Does it have a supernatural element like True Detective, or this is all reality based?
No. And True Detective didn't have a supernatural element, right? Did you see season 1 or no?
True Detective, I thought there was a supernatural element, or is that what people kind of conspiracy theorists try to bring?
It was more. It was like a serial killer who was kind of making up this to make it look like he was being possessed. Yeah. Yeah, there was no actual. It was not like the Winchester brothers had grown up and. I've never even seen an episode of Supernatural. So Mary
was fantastic fun. If you haven't watched it, it's fun.
I just saw somebody said, Lewis said he needs to watch Dope Sick. This is a series that's currently on Disney Plus. It just finished. It was airing week to week on Disney Plus. This is definitely on my list. And once I finish the 4th season of Yellowstone, I'm jumping on a Dope Sick. I would have loved to have been able to crush it beforehand, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance. But I heard it's amazing. Okay. Next on the list is something, John, that, it got a huge amount of buzz and a huge amount of love in the summertime. And I think, we were kind of coming out of this third wave collectively of the pandemic, and we needed something that to kind of lift us up a little bit. And I don't think anybody anticipated this show was going to be, to do what it did. But I put on Sweet Tooth next on my list.
Oh, I thought it was Why Last Man.
Nope, I didn't finish that.
It's not Why Last Man. You missed out. This show definitely took your thunder.
No. But yeah, Sweet Tooth, man. Jeff Lemire's Sweet Tooth. It was obviously, and I think, and I could be wrong. I know Andre was on here. I think Andre had, when we had reviewed episode 1 or 2 in the summer, he had stated that it took a little bit of a turn from the source material. But this seemed to be a show that everybody was just, like I said, COVID exhausted, COVID tired, coming out, the third wave, things opening up in the summertime. And this was a pick-me-up show and was a feel-good show. And I think it filled a lot of the void of hope and fun that I think maybe we didn't realize we needed at the time. So I really enjoyed Sweet Tooth. I do believe they start filming season 2, I want to say now or January, February. So I'm excited for season 2, but man, if you haven't had an opportunity to check out Sweet Tooth on Netflix, you definitely owe it to yourself. Despite the fact that the kid's got horns like a deer out of his head, it is a fantastic show, and I think you would really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, the comic was, I feel like it was a bit darker. And the art style was not fair because I think Jeff Lemire drew it himself.
Yep.
So it didn't quite. It has a particular look to it, which this show kind of made more digestible, I guess, for the populace, I would say. But yeah, I think it was. I liked what I saw. I never went back and finished it. It wasn't really my jam, but I did like what I saw, and I did like the characters. So if one day I have time to go back, it would make my list. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, that's my guy. All right. And last of my TV shows, John, I know that you're not a horror guy whatsoever. I like the horror genre. But I also
Sons of Anarchy did turn into a horror towards the last season.
Yeah, that's very true. But this is a show that I'm a big fan of creator of Mike Fleiss. What he did with The Haunting of Hill House was amazing. I wasn't as big of a fan of Haunting of Bly Manor because I was expecting another Hill House type scream fest, but it was a bit more of a story driven. And in this show that came out in October, John, this is a show that it kind of gave you a little bit of both. But man, it was so riveting to watch. And this is one that I was was generating a lot of buzz from people who were watching it and were just enraptured. And that's Midnight Mass. And if you haven't had an opportunity to check out Midnight Mass, I would highly recommend it. And John, even though, again, I know you're not a horror guy, but this is not a traditional horror in the sense of like jump scares and everything else. I think that you will really enjoy this television show. I think the messaging of what is scary is really intriguing. It's about a small, I really mean a small town that's on this island, kind of like a New England island. And things kind of start going awry once a priest comes to town to replace their Monsignor who has gone off on he was ill, and another priest comes in and things start to unravel. So it's definitely a show I would really highly recommend, especially John, you as an individual who's not a horror person, you could easily watch this.
Yeah, I think I got through episode 1 and I did like it, starring my guy who played Matt Saracen on Friday Night Lights. I forgot what his real name is, but he's one of the guys I really wanted to see do more, and it seems like everybody else got really big off of Friday Night Lights. Taylor Kitsch and Minka Kelly and Adriana Patak, whatever, whoever played Mockingbird in The Shield. I forgot what her name.
Adriana Palecki.
Palecki, yeah. Like it seems like everybody else got big off that show. Michael B. Jordan, biggest star on the planet now. So I will go back to this one to watch my guy. I forgot what his real name is.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, Matt Saracen from Friday Night Lights.
Scott wants me to do a Lost rewatch. Well, if I have to, Scott, then I guess I have to.
You guys can do it. Go episode by episode. Maybe it's that time. There's a lot of rewatch podcast. Sorry, Scott.
Boy.
That's a sneak peek. Scott's not gonna like that.
No. So yeah, those are my TV shows. Again, I watched a hell of a lot more TV shows. We reviewed a whole bunch of different TV shows, but these are the ones that stuck out for me that I have consistently been thinking about throughout the course of the year. So if you haven't seen any of these, hopefully you do. If you've started some of them and haven't gone back, I recommend you go back and check them out.
Yeah, a couple people in the comments mentioned Witcher 2, which was a hit. For a lot of the other guys, I know you, Rob, weren't a huge fan, and Stu was kind of okay with it. Andre loved it. I thought it was pretty good, and a lot of the people in the chat, I think they mentioned it, did really like that show. So
that's good.
Shout outs to Witcher. I would shout out to Cobra Kai. It just came out though, so I don't even know if we can. It came out literally New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And I've binged it. Have you binged it already?
I have.
Yeah. Oh, so we all have watched it. So I guess technically we could include it, but
it wouldn't have made my list.
It wouldn't have made your list.
It wouldn't have made my 5. If I had to be limited to 5, it wouldn't have made my top 5.
Yeah. My number 1 is the show that I'm currently watching, which is Mayor of Kingstown, but that's because I'm watching it right this minute. But if you're a fan of Sons of Anarchy / the Shield kind of style antics, and I think the writer or producer is the same guy who does Yellowstone, and I think you mentioned some oddball movie the same time I mentioned this, and I think it's the same person on all of them.
Are you talking about Taylor Sheridan? He's the writer.
Yeah, exactly. That's the guy.
Yeah. But he's done Sicario and From Hell or High Water, Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Yeah,
tons of stuff.
I've got to go back and watch a lot of those things now because I don't think this show is being very highly rated, but for some reason it's just firing huge for me. I'm like watching every episode as it comes out, and then I'm on Twitter trying to find other people talking about it. But shout outs to those. So that's Rob's top 5 for TV. Thank you, Rob, for putting that together and taking the time to go through your archives of Netflix history and such. Do you want to move on to the movies?
I will, but let me just reiterate the Cobra Kai. The only reason, it's not that it wasn't a good show, but for me, my criteria was that it couldn't have been a sequel or
Oh yeah, yeah,
second
you're
or
100%.
another
Yeah.
season, right? So these were all, you know, single seasons or the first season of those. So for movies, I know that I'm going to get some nuts on here, some twigs on my movie selection. Again, we watched a whole ton of movies, but for me, you and Gord had a very interesting conversation last week. In Gord said, well, what makes a good movie for you? Is it the rewatchability? I'm paraphrasing. Or what makes a movie like in your list? Is it rewatchability? And that for me, it's twofold. It's one, can I rewatch this movie over again because I really enjoy it? And two, or two, is it something that I would highly recommend to people? Because, you know, I only saw Primal Fear once with Richard Gere and Edward Norton. It was his first movie, but I told everybody, you got to go check out Primal Fear. You have to go check it out. Once you've seen the ending, there's no point in seeing it again. It's much like The Sixth Sense, right? Like once you've seen the ending, the whole mystery around it is moot. But it's something you definitely want other people to check out and be a part of. So that was my criteria for this. Again, movies that came out in 2021 and things that I would definitely rewatch and have rewatched, or that I would recommend for people to check out. So again, I'm expecting the beatings, and that's fine. But first off, and I'm sorry, Scott, I gotta do it. But Dune. I know that Scott really despises this, and as somebody who despises a lot of the stuff that we review, I appreciate Scott's irritation of me adding this in my list. But this is a movie that I saw in the theaters. I wanted to rush back and see it a second time. I didn't get a chance to, but as soon as it came out in digital purchase at the beginning of December, I downloaded it. I've watched it a couple of times. It's coming out on the 19th, I think, on Blu-ray. I've pre-ordered it to get a physical copy, so I can, like, I'm all about this first part of Dune. I'm super excited for part 2 to come out, and I think that this movie took people by surprise. I also have to say I'm a really big fan of Denis Villeneuve's work. And I've mentioned it here before. I know I just mentioned Prisoners, which is another movie that it was great, but I would never see it again. But Sicario, Arrival, even Blade Runner 2049, like, just, they're gorgeous pieces of art when you're watching.
I think it'll be 2049 before I can manage to see that movie. I keep putting it off. I got to get on that the Blade Runner. But yeah, I think that's a great choice. And yeah, like you said, rewatchability, world building, especially for this particular movie, is insane. And there's a lot of scenes. Like, even if you don't want to watch the whole movie again, you can jump to a couple different scenes and just watch them. So yeah, I feel like that would have been on my list if I was going to make the list.
Yeah. So a big,
even though I haven't watched it the second time. Yeah.
No, and definitely, and again, it's gorgeous. Like, I watched it with my son, and he was like, he liked it, but it was he really appreciated the look of it, right? So, anyways, I'm a big fan. Next on my list is a movie that, don't put it up yet, John. Is a movie that some people are going to be definitely like shaking their heads at me for. And I'm willing and prepared. But let me just tell you something, John. I just rewatched this the other day. This movie has massive rewatchability for me, despite its massive runtime of 4 hours.
Yes. Which version did you watch? Color, black and white?
No, the color version. I will contend this, though, John. Had Zack trimmed off an hour off of this movie, I think this would have been even more well regarded than what it was. A lot of people really did enjoy this version of the movie. You might as well pop it up now. I'm talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I gotta tell you, I love this movie, man. Again, I completely acknowledge it has tons of faults. We get almost 2 or 3 different introductions for each of the characters. It's too much. It's too bloated. Snyder should have cut a lot of that stuff out. He went real heavy on the slow-mo for a lot of the stuff. But at the heart of the movie, it is a fabulous story where it's completely different than what Joss Whedon had released. And with, you see what they did with Cyborg in this new movie. He is the heart and soul of the movie. But then you see, Ezra Miller's version of Barry Allen. And it's completely diametrically different than what we got. And I love this movie. This is something I could put on in the background, but I would probably get distracted and want to watch it again. I like the fact it comes in different chapters, and so therefore, if you just want to watch a certain section or whatever, you can. I don't need the Nordic singing. I don't need any of that stuff. But man, I love this movie, and I will rewatch this to the end of time.
Yeah,
John?
I think that's great. You were one of the so you would release the Snyder Cut army or whatever. Definitely, you were on board for this movement. So I feel like it should be on your top 5 list, because this was basically tailor created for you. You like fans like you. I don't know. I don't think it would have made my top 5 for sure. But I really did like the experience of watching it and following all the developments for it. Like it was a whole thing. So like the year of, I was double checking if it came out in 2021 or 2020. I'm like, maybe you're mistaken, Rob. But it in fact came out this year. Yeah. So it's I think it's great, especially if you're a fan and you're into this that particular universe. I guess he knew he wasn't going to get an extended cut, so he just had to throw everything in the kitchen sink in there. So yeah, I think it's great that you can find that much rewatching in a 4-hour movie.
Well, listen,
kind of insane.
I think there's an absolutely fantastic movie that's in there. It just needs to be polished down to lose an hour to an hour and a half. If you put this on par with Spider-Man, like a 2.5-hour runtime, there's a solid story there that I think would literally blow people away to think, wow, that's a perfect ending to what he did and a great Justice League movie. Unfortunately, he just threw everything at the kitchen sink in there. So you have to take the good with the bad, but I'm a big fan of the Snyder Cut. Next on my list is obviously not going to be any surprise. But I will say this. I saw this movie twice on the opening weekend. I checked it out. And when I left the first time out of the theater, I was right proper pissed off. I was like, I have invested 24 other movies in this catalog of this character, and you've gone ahead and done this. I'm not going to do any spoilers. I know it's all out there, but I'll avoid it for those who haven't seen it yet. And then I thought about it some more. Like the next morning I woke up and I was really irritated and pissed. I started thinking about the things that I liked about the movie. And then I went and saw it again a day or so later with my wife, who ended up walking out with the same reactions I did, but loved it the second time.
But she just walked out in the middle of the movie.
Because I got to see.
Why did you do this to me?
Yeah, because I got to see everything. I got to see everything that I watched and that I wanted to see out of it, and it put an amazing closure on it. And I will say, and I've said this before, this is the only. It's No Time to Die. This is the final outing from Daniel Craig. It's the only Bond movies in which this one actor, you do need to almost watch all 5 of them as they tell one overarching story, which is I'm not a fan of. I'm a fan of individual stories in and out. Each adventure like a book. That's it. I hope they go back that way. But that being said, this was a fantastic finish for his run. I still have, in the back of my mind, I still have, issues with what they did with the character. But that all being said, it's James Bond will return, as it said in the title cards. I'm very excited. But man, I saw this movie twice. I just picked it up right before the holiday. On Boxing Day, I ordered it and I got it the other day. So I'm going to crack it open and watch it this week. So I'm very excited to watch No Time to Die.
Yeah, 100%. The Anna de Arms, is it
Armas?
Anna Armas, or whatever. Pamola or whatever.
Yeah,
that scene would have been on my top 5 like things of all-time things of this year. Like the way that she played it, the chemistry she had with Daniel Craig. And that particular scene, I would have liked maybe one more scene like that with Bond and stuff later in the movie that would have really worked for me. But yeah, I hear you. That's another movie that was catered directly towards you. And I guess we won't talk too much about it because we don't want, in case someone hasn't seen it, there is lots of stuff going on towards the end of this movie.
There is, but they do have a lot. They do hit a lot of the stuff that people do love about Bond, right? Like the car chase scenes, the action scenes, the Aston Martin, the DB, like all of that stuff is in there. That
it looked good. It looked really good on screen. And yeah, without getting too deep into it, we did do a full review, so you can check that out on our videos. And Rob could probably go on for hours about it.
I could, but I won't. Next on my list is a movie that just came out and has, I think, John is already well over the $1 billion mark. I saw it twice in a 2-day span. And, you know, one could say, well, out of all the movies that you've seen, how could this be in your top 5? Well, because, man, I saw this movie the first time and I had other things going on. To be honest with you, I was in the middle of trying to figure out if we were canceling our cruise. I was a bit distracted. I got the tickets last minute because I thought, holy shit, they're going to be closing theaters down. And I wasn't in the right headspace. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm not sure what to think of this. I saw it 2 days later and was completely blown away. The audience was reacting the way that I didn't get it in the first time I saw it. And that makes, we've talked about this, John, audience in the theater experience can definitely raise your level of excitement and enjoyment.
If you go with a buddy who's generally down for whatever and they're like laughing, you will have a good time. I don't remember if you remember Triple X, whatever the newest one is, Return of Xander Cage.
Okay, I never saw that one.
You never saw that one? Towards the end, there's a cameo, and it is so silly. But if you're there with a buddy and you're laughing, it makes the movie. You know that helps push it up, up a level
for sure.
But yeah,
so,
of course, Rob is talking about this guy,
Spider-Man: No Way Home. Honestly, man, this is a fun ass movie. We've had
spoiler free. Keep it spoiler free if someone hasn't.
No. We are at 26 Marvel movies. And this one just like it just took, you know, I hold Infinity War and Endgame really high up there because it's so much fun. A movie doesn't always have to be like an Oscar contender to just be blasting fun. That's why I love Thor.
Ragnarok?
The third one, Ragnarok. It's so much fun. It's funny and it's fun. This movie was just a hell of a lot of fun with a lot of heart. And it blew me away on just what it delivered. And admittedly, the biggest complaints I've always had about Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, not his fault, it's how they've written him, gets completely resolved and gives me hope of a Spider-Man in the future. So this is definitely on my list. I think it's gonna be on a lot of people's best of list of 2021.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, No Way Home. I was going to talk a little bit about the idea of the legacy sequel. So we got it. This is basically a legacy sequel. May or may not dig up old Spider-Man things. And then we did watch Matrix, which 20 years later we get a sequel. And then Cobra Kai, which we mentioned earlier. All these kind of things coming back. You might say, hey, why do they keep bringing all these things back? But sometimes we get fire like this and like Cobra Kai and stuff like that. So I think that's a good thing.
Nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Yeah, hell of a drug.
we're talking about people going to movies with friends. Sarah's has other ideas of a type of friends to go to the theaters with, but yeah, sure. All right. I'm down. Down like Charlie Brown. And last on my list, John, is a movie that didn't actually get a theatrical release in Canada. If it was very, very limited, but it really kind of premiered on Amazon Prime. This is kind of outside of the wheel. It's a documentary. But I put it up here because it's something that I've been thinking a lot about this movie, and have recommended it to people. It's Val. It's the documentary about Val Kilmer. And the reason I put up here is that, throughout the course of his life, he always had a video camera with him and was literally documenting everything he did from the age of like 15 onwards. And you get to go back and you get to see like a young Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon when the three of them are on like an off Broadway rehearsing for something, and they're just teenagers all the way through. And he has played such an important part in a lot of movies. I mean, I know that one of your favorite Batman movies was Batman Forever, but he was in Tombstone, Top Gun. He's been in a whole bunch of different movies and important roles. And to see though it all being documented and juxtaposed with his current state, which he's been an individual, he's lost his voice due to throat cancer and is essentially having to almost sell his time and his wares and his signature to be able to make ends meet to afford a lifestyle for his family. And But him looking back, he has his son narrate. His son sounds incredibly a lot like Val Kilmer, but he narrates, and he's got thousands and thousands of hours of video of backstage footage of stuff that he shot. So it's definitely something that I would highly recommend people to watch. It moved me in a way that I wasn't expecting, and it's something that I haven't been able to kind of get off my head or get out of my head. I keep thinking about it and keep thinking how great of a movie it was and how lucky we are that this guy was documenting everything, because we got to really see who he was outside of what we saw on the screen.
Yeah, what more could you ask for? Is it if one of your favorite stars gets kind of a full blown, lifetime documentary like this, and hopefully they're not some type of scumbag. So what Val Kilmer movie did you immediately put on after watching Val? Was it Top Gun?
No, Tombstone.
Tombstone?
I mean, I can watch Tombstone, probably a couple times a year. I just love it. But his portrayal of Doc Holliday, who the hell knows if it's real or accurate or not? I mean, he did it though. He was, Doc Holliday died of tuberculosis. Val Kilmer is an ashen face, sweaty mess of a man who's an alcoholic with, practically on the iron lung. Watching his portrayal and seeing him stagger his way through, it was just phenomenal. I loved that movie. So, yeah.
Shout outs to Fraser mentioned he was the voice of Kit on the last Knight Rider, which was when Knight Rider was a Mustang, I believe. So that show was questionable. Even me as a car guy, I would throw one. I don't know if you remember this movie. It's called Spartan. I think it's from 2004. And it's directed and written by David Mamet.
David Mamet, the playwright, David Mamet.
I don't know. Yeah, American playwright. Yeah, it says play. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying. But it's like he's like a Delta Force. He's behind the show The Unit. I think that I was a really big fan of. But
yeah, I love that show.
Val Kilmer is some type of Delta operative kind of like agent. I think he's like retired or something, and then he has to rescue or protect Kristen Bell, a young Kristen Bell. So it was a really cool kind of like a movie from back in the day that I think not a lot of people
know about. Heard of it. Yeah. So, that's cool.
Yeah, so Spartan.
Yeah, so listen, man, those are my picks for 2021. These are the things that rewatchability things. There's a lot of great movies that I've seen. And there's a lot of shitty ones that I've seen as well. And there's a lot I'd recommend other ones, but these are the 5 that kind of just stuck in my head and just were fun for me. So there we are.
Yeah, no, I think those are good choices, and there's an oddball, like a curveball at the end there. We all thought you were gonna pick. I don't know what we thought you were gonna pick. I don't know what else would be on the deck.
Hey, but it's not to say that Shang-Chi wasn't. Like I just finished it before jumping on here. I rewatched it today.
I was going to shout out Shang-Chi. A lot of people are praising Simu and his team and all the pieces of that movie. I did want to shout out Awkwafina, who kind of gets a lot of flack for sometimes playing the goofy role, but I really like that she plays this offbeat, non-traditional Asian in a lot of her stuff. So shout outs to Nora from Queens if you want to watch something that's really out there. It's on Crave right now, and it's really wacky, and it's not what you would think to see from an Asian performer. You might be quite surprised by what comes from that show. Shang-Chi. I don't know if there was anything else that we should mention.
Suicide Squad. I really enjoyed James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Like I have it on Blu-ray. I thought it was a great movie. But I don't know. I feel like it got passed over really easily because it was a day and day release in theaters and on HBO Max, right? So
it was just a good fun film to watch. And then I don't know, you'd have to put all these projects that came out this year on a timeline to see what came after it, which will push it out of your brain, right?
Yep.
Maybe just something kind of like I don't even remember what opened right before we got Spider-Man No Way Home. But who knows if anyone's going to remember that.
Well, Eternals was just a couple weeks before No Way Home, right? So that would definitely not be on any of my lists. Like I went to the theater a fair amount of times between July, like when they reopened in July, right through till December. But like the first one I think I saw in the theater was Fast 9, unfortunately. That being said, John, you're gonna be happy to know that the jolly old Saint Nick brought my son all of 9 Fast and Furious movies in a collected box. So because he's been plowing through the movies like just recently over the winter break.
He just rewatched. I think that's the great thing about that Fast and the Furious franchise, that you can it becomes that it world built when you wouldn't have thought there was a world to build from that. So everyone, I think, can take something from it. Back in my youth, I definitely watched the first couple.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, like probably like the first half of it, definitely I've watched in the very close to the double digits. But anyways, I think that was great. I think Fantastic Five, Fantastic Furious. That's which we should call it now, Fantastic Furious, because that's how crazy they're getting. F9 was a hell of fun for a return to the theaters, I would say.
Yeah, it was different.
Now we're getting all kinds of quotes from it. So what quickly, we're gonna wrap up here, folks. But what are you hyped for coming in the new year, Rob?
Well, I wasn't saying Morbius, John, but that's
no, it's off the table. Someone just took it and raked it right off the table. There was a pile of stuff, books, work,
glasses,
losing that 20 pounds, whatever. And Morbius was on there, and they just went whoosh. That's not on the deck for 2022. See, I almost said the wrong year. The Batman, Scott shouts out the Batman. I feel like, Rob, that should have been the top. That's the top of your list.
Yeah.
Right now, off the top of my head, Batman didn't come to mind right away. It's the Jack Reacher show. I know we've talked about
TV shows.
Yeah, we've talked about that. The Jack Reacher show definitely is top of my hype list. I've actually listened to that audiobook twice. I'm rereading the physical book, which is
blows me away that you're actually have a physical
first
book.
To me. Yeah. I think there's only a few books that I've kind of like actually started to go through. Inside Delta Force, because the Unit was one of my all-time favorite shows. So I'll mention that since we already opened that door. And Neuromancer, Andre got me a really nice copy of Neuromancer, which is the birth of cyberpunk, I believe. And this Jack Reacher, Killing Floor. I think I'm going to go through it.
Yeah, I'm really stoked.
We'll be ready in February. So we'll see how that goes. The Batman, top of your list, right, Rob? Anything else?
Yeah, top of my list. I mean, there's a lot that's coming out that's supposed to be coming out. We know that the Flash movie is supposed to be out here in November of 2022. Obviously, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness is in May. Thor, Love and Thunder, I believe, is supposed to be November. Or did that get moved? I don't remember anymore. See, things have been moved so much. Top Gun 2 I've been waiting for, so I'm really stoked to see that. You know what?
There's a Top Gun and there's a Mission Impossible in
both
Tom Cruise's holsters,
yes,
ready for him to just go blam blam and dominate the box office. So.
I thought Black Adam is supposed to be this July, so I'd be interested in that one. But so if I'm the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But I right now, the ones I think I can actually grasp and I'm looking forward to, John, I'm just going to say the top 5 just for me, like that I know are coming out, or at least or should be, is Batman. I actually want to see the Uncharted movie. I think it looks a hell of a lot of fun. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, and Black Adam and Flash. So maybe that's 6, but
you cheated.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think that far ahead. So Batman and Jack Reacher, I think those are the next things.
Next big things.
The next thing's tangible in line, but who knows what's gonna happen with Batman if everything gets closed down.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people shouting out Black Adam, new Shazam. Sometimes we forget there's a new Shazam movie as well.
That's 2023. That's not coming out until 20. Yeah. That's
too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
Yeah. Next Christmas is supposed to be Aquaman, I believe.
Aquaman, I forgot about Aquaman. Yeah, I did enjoy that first movie. So
so at any rate, that's what we got coming out. My son just messaged me and said, don't forget Jurassic World is coming out. That's true. That's in this summer.
The assist.
But that's coming out in theaters, John. Next week we are going to be unveiling the one thing that you've been clamoring for almost a good year, John. It's our
We are
90s
doing
action.
the Bring It On bracket. So bring it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna throw them into a mixer and we're gonna find out which is the all-time best Bring It On. Why, Rob? Because it's already been brought.
And this is where I say adios. It was nice knowing you guys. We are doing the 90s action movie bracket. And so we don't have any homework for you right now because I think next week we're going to make some, we're going to probably start the bracket off. I think the idea is that John and I are going to do the same thing we did with the 80s. We're going to kind of eliminate the sports type movies like the Rockies and everything else. We're going to eliminate the sci-fi. Maybe we'll do a separate sci-fi bracket for the 90s action. And we might have to limit this to 90 to 95. Right, John? And then go.
Otherwise, it gets a little crazy. So I don't know if we can do half a decade or if in doing the recon, maybe we can only do a year at a time. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of these 90s movies more so than the 80s ones because 80s would be just whatever is on loop on Channel 7 City TV or whatever it was back in the day.
Yeah, so we might have to do like over like a 3, like 90 to 93, 94 to 97, 97.
I don't know how we're gonna bracket.
So we'll figure it all out.
We're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about it next week. So maybe start going through your memory banks or keep an eye on your Netflix. I saw Lewis sent me a nice picture of Universal Soldier is on Crave. I feel like that's an underrated gem. I did see Bad Boys 1 pop up on my Netflix.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's is that 92 or later? I feel like that's later.
No, that's like 95.
95. Yeah, 95, I want to say it's 95.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some real stiff competition. Maybe I'll have to bust out my DVDs because I own a lot of these. T2, I own it. Time Cop, I own it. Toy Soldiers, I don't own Toy Soldiers. Double Impact, I do own that.
Well, yeah, no surprise from you. I know. I'm actually dreading the Van Damme verse we're going to be having to dive into.
I think maybe we'll have to pick some of our favorite stars of that era or legacy stars like Van Damme, Schwarzenegger. We might have to pick representatives for each of them. Seagal. Did you see Exit Wounds dropped on Netflix and it's trending number 9?
Is it really?
I was like,
no.
Yeah, I was scrolling down. I do that like so. Shout out to Netflix who has like a really good. I was gonna ask what you think the best streaming service was for this year or whatever, but I think it's too hard. Everything's all over the place.
Yeah.
But I really like Netflix interface. It's the most consistent on different devices you use.
Yeah.
But that trending, that'll definitely get you to watch random shit. So Exit Wounds number 9
That's
trending
so
on Netflix right now with Steven Seagal. I don't think it deserves that spot.
No.
But yeah, the underappreciated last action hero. Maybe we should open this up since we're talking action movies and it's 90s to this very potentially underrated, underappreciated movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and a young Rob Gaudette.
I'm sure it's going to be on our list, on our bracket of things to watch. We just got to create the bracket first. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to lay out all the rules. We'll have the first part of the bracket set up for next week. And then next week, you'll have your homework of which 2 movies you want to crush first as we go through the bracket. Sound good?
Yeah, we'll see if we can narrow it down to a bracket. We might start putting together the list and be like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's much. But tune in next week. We'll let you know.
We just might have to throw up a spinner and just go, we're going to start watching movies and then work on this bracket as we go because there's so much. I feel like it's going to be more so than the 80s.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like the 80s
The 90s was a huge action decade.
Yeah, of certain stars and stuff like that. So thank you, everybody. As always, thanks you for tuning in.
Yeah.
If you don't follow us, Rob Gaudette on the Twitter down there. Got his Twitter handle. I got my Twitter handle there. I'll try and get on there more. It's a lot of fun to be able to talk to people. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday. Tune into our other content coming up. I think the return of TGIF Friday should be here on Friday. I'm not sure if the Pat and Chris project is going to be up and running this week.
Probably not.
But get at it.
You never know.
Demolition Man. Yeah. So see, we're already starting. I feel like we go on for another hour with and I think The Rock, Demolition Man, Eraser, and a bunch of movies are all chunked in the same maybe 2 or 3 years. I think, Rob. I think they're going to be really close. So it's going
to be a tight one.
It's going to be silly. Like I feel like we're going to have to pick a couple movies from each year and split it up that way. I don't know. It's going to be nuts. So everybody start working on your stuff.
And before we go, I have one more thing to say, John.
Yeah.
Alexa, play Hero by Chad Kroeger and Josie Scott.
Is it not a Nickelback song? I did not know that. But anyways, shout outs, folks. Enjoy Hero. It's gonna play us out. Nickelback merchandise on the website. Peace.